So for my human rights report, I did Thailand. I gave it a B minus because while it does have some human rights abuse, I think it is fixing them and it's on the up and up. And so I'm gonna look at first off for some facts and figures. And so first thing that comes out is the type of government, and this will go into one of the human rights abuse that I will talk about, and also in the history of Thailand. But just it is a constitutional monarchy right now, so they do have a king and a prime minister. But as of recently, as of 2014, the prime minister has a gain unstoppable power and just like controls the military now as well. And so there's just a history of political instability of Thailand kind of recently. As far as the 2000s go, there's been political instability. As well, one of the big things to note is that one of the major exports of Thailand is agriculture, so rice, fish, product, rubber, etc. And so, as we will go into later, but there's just a lot of farmers and poor farmers in need of cash, and also children, uneducated, teenagers and young adults that need to take care of their aging parents. But before that, I'm going to go into history of Thailand. And so I'm just going to use this to go into further depth of political instability. Um, as 2014, uh, the Royal Thai Army staged a coup against the caretaker government, and was appointed minister in August 2014. And because he was head of that, he became prime minister and kind of head of the government, leading to this interim military government. And they did set elections for 2018, so it kind of shows that they are trying to move in a upward path and a correct path, maybe not correct, but just a path towards political stability. It should be to note that their king died after 70 years of the throne, and so with things like that, sure they say that they are going to have these elections, but it's never quite certain whether the results of those elections will follow, whether they even have the elections in the first place, whether the elections won't be corrupt, at all in any sense. So that's something to look forward to. Human rights abuse, unchecked military power, just because holds power over the military and the government, and so basically there's been a lot of detaining and just a lot of mistreatment, and just interrogation, stuff like that. And usually those people are human rights activists, and that falls into the huge suppression of freedom of speech in Thailand. Just a lot of human rights activists like calling out stuff that the Thailand government is doing are often gone missing, or there's a lot of pressure on media outlets to not release unfavorable opinions about the junta or monarchy. Anything that gives them bad publicity, and so that's something that is definitely a problem in Thailand. As I said, with the unchecked military power, hopefully with elections they are going to try and split up this interim government that they're having and move back to more a hopefully like maybe a democracy or something, just not a interim military. And so the thing that I probably believe is the biggest problem is sex trafficking. It's probably the one of the biggest issues. And interesting thing about sex trafficking is that all prostitution in Thailand is illegal, but because it's so economically viable and it's such a profit for the country, most of it is like not uh, like the government doesn't come after brothels and stuff like that. So a lot of the touristy areas that have brothels and red light districts and stuff like that aren't really fall into sex trafficking. It's usually like remote places, and it's just like basements and massage parlors, weird massage parlors, where these things typically happen. And just the location of Thailand. It's between China and like a bunch of war-torn countries, and just the tourism aspect of it as well draws a lot of people in and also increases the sex traffic there. And something the Thailand government is doing recently to combat this, which I will talk about more in my current news section, is they are setting up a database of foreigners, and they are tracking them. And they're tracking them to see if they have any involvement in sex trafficking. And I think that this is a good thing. It shows that they are trying to take the right steps, or taking steps to, solve this very big issue in Thailand. Um, it's interesting because it could also be seen as, a government overstep, just to blatantly track people. But I think, um, I think it's a good step in the right direction, and it shows that Thailand is trying to work on creating a better place, even with all the things that are going on. And so I'm just going to skip over to NGOs because still in the sex trafficking thing, the NGO talking about is Fight Against Child Exploitation, or FACE. This is because a lot of these sex traffickers and people who get put into sex trafficking, at least from Thailand, are these girls whose parents sell them into prostitution. Usually like poor farmers in Thailand, rice farmers and stuff like that. And so FACE is trying to stop that and shine a light onto that. And with for all of these, they are facing slight resistance from the Thailand government, because anything that puts them in a bad light is not it's not really advertised at all. And so the Institute of Human Rights and Protection Development trying to stop that and trying to help help Thailand, like environmentalists and stuff like that, have their voices be heard. Um, so that's basically what they're trying to doing. And so just a few images, very touristy as well. Tourism is a big part of Thailand. Human rights defenders, just a protest happening, shining light on that. An image of Thai farmers and the probably lower class. Another protest, Bangkok, and just I picked these photos kind of just to show both the touristy or city life of Thailand, as well as the farm life as well, and as well as just like different protests and stuff like that to show political political advocacy in Thailand. So I give it a B minus because it does have its problems, specifically at least in unchecked military power. Not being able to say what you want, suppression of freedom of speech, and just sex trafficking, big things. But for the most part, at least, they're trying to create a stable government, and they are definitely trying to crack down on sex trafficking. They're also talking about making prostitution legal, so the government, one, can benefit off of it. Two, they can make the quality of life for sex workers better, and three, they can really distinguish more between sex trafficking and then illegal prostitution. So for that reason, I give it a B minus. So yeah, this is Thailand, JD, and thank you for watching.